Hey, I'm Slyfincleton, and I'm here to show you Spider-Man 2, so let's get to it. Pick an appropriate name,
Вводим свое имя,
and
GDQ,
then timer
и
will
без
start in
длинных
3, 2,
вступлений
1,
мы
go.
начинаем.
So, I do not have time to tell you about how I'm going to skip the tutorial with the built-in tutorial skip. The first thing that I think everybody remembers this game for is the swinging. This game was the first of its kind to introduce physics-based swinging. You can touch the ground, you can slam into walls if you want, and that is going to be the main
Ну,
focus
основная часть
of
этого ранного,
the
естественно,
tutorial.
будет состоять в том, чтобы
So as
летать на
I start
паутине,
the
точнее
first scene
раскачиваться.
here, already skipped the tutorial, starting in chapter 3 instead of chapter 1. And Peter Parker is just about to realize that he is late for
Это по
Dr.
факту
Connor's
первая игра,
IRL.
которая
So I'm going to ignore the
ну,
game
сделала
title
в
let Professor
Человеке-пауке такое
Xavier
раскачивание
to remember
более-менее
any
физическое.
second now that he has to go to Dr. Connor's class. The most important thing to remember about this game's movement is that it does not hold your hand and it does not limit you. So I can go pretty much as fast as I want to and make as many mistakes as
Вот
I
тут
want to.
уже наша первая драка.
We've already moved on to the first bit of combat, and every bit of
Как вы
combat
можете
has a
заметить,
little bit of
передвижение и драка в этой игре выглядят странновато, особенно в
more
спидране.
upgrades throughout the game. So the first combat's pretty basic. I'm just jumping up in the air and trying to use the air combos against these guys to take them out, which I've done pretty well. Got the briefcase, which will never be mentioned again. It's a super secret briefcase. Very important that we rescue it. It doesn't show up the rest of the game. And we've made it to Dr. Connor's class a little late, but we don't have time to think about that because I've got to move on to Pizza Parlor. And I have to break everybody's hearts. There's no easy way to do it. There are no pizza missions in this run. We're gonna go up to the pizza parlor and then we're gonna say goodbye. So just mentally preparing everybody for that.
Сейчас мы отправляемся в пиццерию, но никаких миссий с пиццей тут
I've
не
only
будет.
got one side of buildings to swing with as I make my way to the parlor, which kind of means that I have to make sure that I don't send myself too far to the left or right, which would send me careening into an alleyway.
Заглянули в пиццерию и отправляемся дальше по своим делам.
Sorry, no pizza time, everybody. Sometimes life is harsh and cruel, and isn't that what being Spider-Man's all about? Just a little bit of challenge. But now I'm making my way to get the first secret token of the run. We're going to see a lot of these and similar types of things. The reason why I'm going out of my way to get these tokens is because in most chapters you need to have a certain amount of hero points to progress, and these secret tokens and other tokens are a very
А
unique
раннер еще тут объясняет, что он собирает секретные токены по карте, и он их собирает потому, что, чтобы пройти дальше по главе, нужно набрать то, что в этой игре называется Hero Points, то
that he
есть
promised to go meet up
очки
with me on the
героя.
train after
И
James
вот эти вот
gets
токены — это довольно простой способ набрать вот эти вот Hero
That is a
Points.
lot of this game, just kind of going to places and doing things, and then just in time for Peter to remember to do them. But as with most things Spider-Man, you get interrupted by some thugs entering our gallery trying to rob it, which is going to show, this is going to be a good example of the type of varied combat in that you're going to see me do some stuff, and then I'm never going to do it the rest of the run. So I'm going to do an aerial kick, couple slow-mo hits. The slow-mo attacks give you a unique moveset that is more powerful than the standard moveset. And the important thing here that I'm aiming for is to get the attacks out and then turn off the slow-mo before the second hit lands.
Вот еще немного драки. Раннер объясняет, что в этой игре можно использовать такие вот слоумо атаки, которые наносят больше урона. А, Но ими надо пользоваться правильно и выходить из режима слоумо заранее, чтобы не терять времени на замедление.
To try to explain things, but we are entering into what is basically an auto scroller. The only thing I have to do here is keep close to Cat, and I'm going to at some point break off and buy some things.
Так, вот этот момент — это типа автоскроллер, надо просто бежать бежать следом. Но вот в этом моменте мы можем отбежать чуть-чуть с назначенного пути и пойти в магазин. И сразу же после этого продолжить выполнение миссии.
And we've got $25 from Tempestrel. They say Slyfincleton always brings so much energy to a marathon. Glad he's getting the chance to show off his skills at GDQ. Donating in memory of my grandmother who passed away a few years ago from brain cancer. Thank you so much for your donation and wonderful memory of your grandmother.
Thank you. Very kind.
We've got $20 from Micah. They say donating for my partner. Introduced him to AGDQ this year and he loves it. Thank you so much for your cause. Thank you very much for your donation, Micah, and for introducing yet another person to this wonderful event.
Your grandma. Now that's something I'd like to see.
I've got $25 here from Zero Colt. They say get the hype train going and the time's low. We're working on it. It's always what we're working on over here.
I have time for about one more.
You got, okay, and I'm going to pre-apologize for my J. Jonah Jameson impression. I'm not going to be good at it, but Suburban Hell gives $25, and they say, Parker, I need you to kick Cancer's butt and get me pictures of Spider-Man now!
That was pretty good.
I mean, I just yelled.
Донаток присылает мемы про фотки Спайдермена.
Of it, I think. But yeah, so this chase is about to end right here, which is going to end the first chapter of the game, chapter 3. That makes sense. And bring us into chapter 4. There are 15 total chapters, and some of them are going to be real short, some of them not so much. Chapter 4 is going to go by pretty quick. The first thing is to introduce Daily Bugle missions to the game. So I'm going to head into the Daily Bugle here, first time of many. And there's going to be a little bit of walking as Peter Parker, which is about...
Ну, в общем, в этой игре будет 15 глав, и некоторые главы будут короче, некоторые длиннее, естественно. А здесь мы ходим не как Человек-паук, а как Питер Паркер. И, в принципе, ничего особо интересного здесь не происходит. Просто всякие сюжетные штуки, которые мы все равно скипаем.
The main thing is you can see on that marker there, I'm aiming to get all of the photo tokens. You can get them in any order, but I'm going to go in order, swing around here, grab this, immediately swing out, and I'm going to go into a very specific wall sprint jump to kind of get myself the angle that I need to launch myself to the next one.
Опять-таки на этом небоскребе собирают всякие токены.
Wall jump here, break the
Ну, точнее, не токены, а фотки.
Get up to the next one. Do a short wall sprint jump out of it, do the tiniest little baby swing, which can let me jump out of that to get the perfect amount of height to get to this one. And this is my personal favorite. Nice. Do that quick wall sprint, bounce up the pole, get this skyscraper.
Очень блочно город выглядит с такой высоты. Но на Xbox делали как могли.
That I'm in trouble and have to find a backup. So always make sure you get that. What you just saw me do was one of the most important movement techniques. It's kind of a miss it in it's gone moment, but that was a glide. Specifically, I missed a swing on purpose, which kind of causes the game to feel bad for you because you missed a swing, and which then kind of, it sort of locks your momentum in place, which lets you keep that momentum as long as you want, and allows you to sort of, well, glide for a little bit.
Интересно, в этой игре есть такая механика, когда ты раскачиваешься на паутине, и в тот момент, когда тебе надо там перейти на следующий,
But no time for that because we're into
Um,
Rhino.
как бы это так объяснить, ну, ухватиться еще раз паутиной за какое-то другое место, то можно пропустить этот момент, и игра считает, что вот игрок там не нажал кнопку, допустил ошибку, и есть такая механика, что она сохраняет инерцию Человека-паука, и он может лететь дальше, не падая, что в спидране довольно много используется, как говорит раннер.
5 hits in a second if I want to. Pretty quick dealing with the first boss there, and a lot of the bosses are going to end up going down not in similar ways, but in similar speeds.
Собираем очередной секретный
I got
токен
the next secret token there, which is going to bring me
и
into
переходим в
Chapter
главу
5.
5.
And Chapter 5 is, I believe, the shortest chapter in the game. Pretty much all movement, which gives me a little bit more time to discuss the movement. So during the Black Cat chase, you probably saw me go into the shop and buy a few things. What I bought was Grapple, which you need to progress the game, and 2 swing speed upgrades. So I'm already swinging.
Собственно, раннер объясняет, что когда мы заходили во время автоскроллера в магазин, мы покупали граппл, который нужен, чтобы пройти дальше по игре, и пару апгрейдов на скорость раскачивания, из-за чего мы теперь передвигаемся заметно быстрее.
Finding ways to make my movement just a little bit faster, and it really adds up. With Harry here, that I believe is the only time you see Harry, so I hope that half second was good. And then I'm going to make my way downtown and find a couple more secret tokens. The first one is nestled in this building right here. Grab that.
По дороге собираем еще пару секретных токенов.
Time to go around the building rather. Usually it's better to go over them or than around them. And I need to get a lot more hero points to progress the mission, and tokens just aren't going to do it. They're not enough. So we're going to do the first race of the run.
Здесь раннер будет делать небольшую гонку, то есть это даже не гонка, это скорее тайм-челлендж, добраться за определенное время до определенного места. И за вот эти вот мини-игры даются тоже hero-поинты, которые нам нужны, чтобы перейти в следующую главу.
Not do that. I'm gonna have to redo that one. Oh, but I really need these hero points. I'm still like 700 down, and the problem with this one is that I still don't have the swing speed upgrades that I need. The race assumes that I have the max swing speed in the game, or it's a mega time which I need to hit.
Получается, что игра предполагает для этих челленджей, что чтобы получить самое лучшее время, тебе нужны все апгрейды скорости раскачивания, но этих всех апгрейдов у нас пока нет. Соответственно, получить самое лучшее время заметно сложнее. Но спидранерам приходится как-то выкручиваться.
Bruce Campbell, the narrator, is telling us to get these, and that is the explanation. So I'm getting these. Fortunately, that race dropped me off right where I needed to be to get these. I'm actually gonna get 4 out of 5 because the 5th one activates another Black Cat chase, and I'm not quite ready to do that yet.
Там тоже миссию мы не до конца выполняем. Мы собрали 4 камеры из 5. Но если мы подбираем 5-ю, то там начинается еще один типа автоскроллер. И вместо того, чтобы это делать, мы еще зашли к Мэри Джейн, чтобы получить немного хиропоинтов.
Then we can make our way back to the last photo token, quote unquote, which will start the next cat chase.
И вот сейчас мы возвращаемся за последним токеном камеры.
Height management is probably the most important facet of movement in this game. You can kind of use your height as a resource, and when you burn.
И вот снова начинается вот эта догонялка.
Because doing as many swings as possible, which is the fastest form of movement, is kind of going to naturally turn you into the ground. But we are on to the second cat chase. I do really quick have to explain that this is not technically a complete auto-scroller. There is some rubber banding going on here, so I want to keep as close to cat as possible. But other than that, we definitely have some time for some donations.
Okay, we definitely have a lot of good ones coming in, and it's tough to pick which meme y'all want me to go with. I'm going to pick this one, though. So this is $25 from Nick O, and they say, Finkleton.
Тут, собственно, мы видели, что он делает буквально то же самое, что и во время прошлой погони. Заходит в магазин по дороге, покупает еще апгрейд на скорость раскачивания.
Very good lyrics. Thank you.
Good on writing and performance.
I've got a second song here. We got 25 from Vanya Loswen. They say Spider-Man, Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web, fights some crime, but it won't take too much time. Look out, there goes the Spider-Man. Thank you very much for that
В
donation.
донатах присылают песни про Спайдермена.
It would be better if you slowed down a bit.
We've got $15 from Okmikaras23. They say, hey Sly, while you may not be running a Chizo Mythos game, I'm glad to see you at GDQ. You can do this!
That's a
We
deep
know.
cut.
We know
Thank
you
you.
can do this. And I've got $25 from Undecided Apollo. They say, I gotta donate for the game which got me into gaming. Rip pizza time. I'm sorry we didn't get the pizza time. But we gotta go fast. No time for pizza.
И тут переходим в 7 главу.
Yeah, you got it. $10 from Midgie. They say, I was just about to turn off AGDQ for the night, but as soon as the swinging started, I knew I had to stay and see it to the end. First time watching a run of this game, and I already love it. Well, thank you for sticking around for the run and for the great runner. We appreciate it.
Bit of an attitude, though.
Yeah. So during that chase, I bought some more stuff. I bought Air Jump Off Kick, which is a secret tool that will help us later.
Здесь опять очень короткая секция за Питера Паркера, которую мы заканчиваем по факту моментально.
Probably remember using WebZip a lot, and it is a good tool, but it does not beat out swinging. So a lot of the time, if you ever see me using WebZip, it's usually either I made a mistake or I'm using it for like a very specific position. But we've gone into Beck's arena. Beck has challenged us, Quentin Beck. He believes that we are a phony and that we do not have superpowers. So this competition where we throw prisoners into pits.
Это арена Квентина Бека.
How we prove that we have superpowers.
Он типа говорит, что мы не настоящий Спайдермен,
You notice I'm not really
и мы доказываем, что мы настоящий Спайдермен, закидывая
which give me points because
этих людей в ямы.
there are 3 rounds, and for each round there are a certain number of prisoners that will spawn. And the round
Что звучит
ends when all the
логично.
prisoners that from that round are in pits. And I want to. It doesn't matter to me how many points I get as long as I win. So I'm mostly just trying to throw the prisoners into the pits as fast as possible while just making sure that I'm beaten back, which isn't guaranteed, but this is a really good start. The patterns are random, and
Тренер говорит, что ему довольно сильно везет, потому что паттерны, по которым выбегают вот эти вот узники, довольно рандомные, и ему, в принципе, неплохо повезло.
round does still basically count as a loss for the speed run. You have to do an extra round, and that's no fun. Going in here into this next round, the strategy is generally the same every time, with very slight. You know, if the points aren't going where they need to go, I can make a slight adjustment. Sometimes I get a nice double hit like that, where one thug will hit the other thug and launch them into the pit. That's always.
Это еще может быть такой момент, когда хватаешь одного узника, а он еще сбивает по пути второго, и оба залетают в яму, но это случается довольно редко. Но когда случается, то это очень хорошо, сохраняет время и выглядит круто.
Where I get to do this, going through the arena. If I'm not protected by a wall, I can get shot. But as you saw there's a little bit of leniency, so I can go for some specific, very specific jumps to make sure that I don't get shot, or I do get shot there, which is fine. I expected to. Generally, I'm going to end here with two shots to get the 1 cycle, which I will get. Very happy about that. 1 cycle, trying to get 1 cycle back here without having to repeat it from the middle point is kind of a noob killer, and it's very easy to get caught off guard and get destroyed there. That's the end of Quentin Beck.
На этом секция с Квентином Беком заканчивается, но он еще вернется.
Right now I need a little bit more hero points, so I'm going to do another race here.
Тут будет довольно короткий тайм-челлендж.
Shortest race in the game, but it's very close to where we need to
Все, что надо сделать, это забежать на вершину здания.
Position up here within 5 seconds, no issue. And to do so, I did. You might have seen it a few times earlier in the run. I did infinite wall sprint. Basically, I went into a wall sprint and then I jumped out and just immediately, talking like basically next frame, went into another wall sprint. And you can just kind of chain them together to keep max wall sprint speed, since the basic wall sprint without any upgrades has a...
Кстати, вы могли заметить, но когда мы заходим в новую главу, то нам игра сразу же говорит, что надо сделать, чтобы перейти в следующую. В данном случае нам надо купить еще один апгрейд на раскачивание и набрать 3000 hero поинтов. Ну, в принципе, в каждой главе надо набрать 3000 hero поинтов. Ну, по крайней мере, до сих пор это так было.
Is kind of tradition at this point. And then I bought some combat upgrades. I bought the 4-hit air combo, which is a very, very spammable, very fun bread and butter move that is going to deal with a lot of the basic enemies going forward. And I also bought the hero punch, which is those of you who are in the know.
Еще один апгрейд раннер купил, это Hero Punch, героический удар,
It's so cool. It slows down time when you do it.
который еще тоже понадобится в спидране чуть позже.
A little bit further on, because right now Peter is remembering a place he needs to go to again that I'm already going to. But there's kind of, as with everything, there's an axiom with this game, which is that no matter how fast you are, you can never make Peter be on time. So we're gonna make our way to this waypoint. I'm not gonna actually go to it. I'm just gonna swing by it, because after you get within 50 in-game units of it, these thugs are going to rob.
Опять немного драки, где мы спасаем магазин от ограбления.
To take all of them out.
Хотя магазин уже не спасти, он, видимо, сгорел.
Swing directly after the fourth hit, which lets me kind of link these combos together. Don't need to bother touching the ground and jumping again. That's a little too slow. Now we're at a truck. You notice there's an enemy on the back of the truck with a sniper rifle. I'm going to sit on the front of the truck and hope that this enemy is going to shoot that truck. Not too friendly this time. He shot it in the cutscene after it was a little too late, but that's fine. Take care of these two guys. I don't need to actually deal with the sniper. There is a small chance for a game crash here. I'm being as careful as possible.
Снайпера ему там убивать не обязательно на машине. И тут был небольшой риск, что игра крашнется. Но благо игра, видимо, не крашнулась.
We're good. Make it into the next black cat chase, which is going to be more the same, barring one small thing that I'll explain later. So we have some time for some more donations.
Здесь очередная погоня за Кэт, за кошкой. И поскольку это опять-таки автоскроллер, раннер говорит, чтобы пока что читали донаты.
And we've got, oh, well, here's a pre-apology again for a JJJ. $25 from Ness. They say, Parker, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Make life take the lemons back. Get mad. I don't want your damn lemons. What am I supposed to do with these? Get me Spider-Man. Again, just yell, and maybe it'll happen. We've got $25 from Willem Dafoe. They say, you know, I'm something of a donor fighting against cancer myself. Well, thank you for being a donor, and thank you for fighting against cancer with us.
Опять-таки по дороге забегаем за секретным токеном.
Kill the frames. That's a bid war I would not mind getting into.
Were it so easy.
Were it so easy. And we've got $50 from Prismatic.
Да тут весь ран донаты или про фотки Питера Паркера, или про песню про Человека-паука.
Surprisingly, it kind of worked. Thank you. That's a good trick. Maybe we all should try that.
Great. Yeah, that's that chase. Ooh, we're into an alley fight with these thugs, and Black Cat being here kind of messes with the physics. It seems to specifically make the homing kick attack that I've been spamming the whole time kind of not work, so I can't really use that swing in between combos strat, because it will launch me in a direction that I'm unlikely to be able to home in from. This fight could be kind of chaotic, but if I use this 4-hitter combo, be no issue. The thing that I mentioned with the Black Cat chase earlier was that there are a couple points in that chase where she would stop to kind of mock you for being slow, even though you're ahead of her the whole time. And opening up the map, like the in-game map, just kind of stops that when it happens. So that's fun. I don't know. Nobody knows why that happens.
Тут переходим в главу 9. Также раннер еще объясняет, что есть такой забавный скип, когда идет погоня за Black Cat, то она местами останавливается и а, дразнит Человека-паука, что он слишком медленный, хоть в спидране мы постоянно держимся впереди нее. Но если открыть внутриигровую карту, то можно это дело скипнуть по какой-то причине.
Because I'm there for the cutscene that activates the mission, and then I'm peacing out. But I'm gonna make a quick trip at the stop here.
Здесь опять забегаем в
I'm
магазин
gonna take a quick trip at the shop here.
и покупаем очередной апгрейд на
Swing
скорость.
speed upgrade, and it's worth it. It's worth the time just to go out of it, just to get the swing speed upgrade. They really do make a huge difference. I'm already up to swing speed 5, but I also will need this to finish. I believe Chapter 10 has it as a requirement, so I will be getting it either way. It's just this is the best time for it. Do a little glide here because doing so lets me increase my terminal velocity to fall faster to get into the doors of the theater here. And I'm going to do my best to do a play-by-play of Burning Theater, but it's a little chaotic. So here we go. There's a robot here. I'm going to do a 3-hit air combo there. Miss the jump off.
Теперь мы в очень горящем театре,
Go this way.
где надо биться с летающими врагами. А это довольно сложный файт.
Instead, we dipped over here, grabbed this reporter. The robot came to me that time. That's pretty lucky. This guy tends to hang out up here, so I'm going to go to him. Swing off to the left. You'd think I'd grab this reporter.
Да, еще параллельно надо всяких репортеров спасать.
On the way. The sprint jumps give you just enough height to get from these balconies to the top platform.
Странная задержка
That
была.
took a second to grab him. That's a new one. Grab him. I have 3 out of 6, but I also need to deal with aliens who are honestly pretty reasonably clumped up here.
Инопланетяне что-то в угол забились по непонятной причине, но в принципе так и лучше, когда они все рядом, то убивать их намного быстрее.
I've got 2 more reporters here, both of them right here. I'm just going to kind of dip and repeat. Sometimes that you accidentally swing off the side platform there. You could react to it and then wall sprint up the side, which looks way cooler, but is way scarier in a speed run. So I'm glad I only had to do it once, but also glad I got to show it off. This is one of the only cutscenes in the game you can't skip, but it's Mysterio dialogue, so nobody...
Получается, одна из немногих катсцен в игре, которые нельзя скипнуть.
And then, as you heard, he's messing with the Statue of Liberty, which is probably a felony. So we're gonna go up to that and put a stop to it. As you see here, as it comes up, he's kind of made it into an homage.
Здесь мы отправляемся к статуе свободы.
But there's a cutscene trigger. You notice the waypoints tell me to go to the right. I'm way past that. I don't need that cutscene. If you trigger the cutscene, it kind of puts you on a set path. But if you don't, you can kind of use the in-game mechanic of when you fall in the water.
Тут небольшой скип-раннер делает. Получается, если упасть в воду, то игра телепортирует Человека-паука к ближайшему берегу. И ближайший берег в том конкретном моменте был как раз рядом со статуей свободы. Тут мы видим, что Мистерио немного апроприировал статую свободы под себя любимого. Здесь у нас замечательное задание — уничтожить 8 орбов. И здесь надо кулаками побить мозг Мистерио. И на этом босс-файт, в принципе, заканчивается.
And then at some point, Spider-Man figured out that we need to go to Mysterio's apartment, or secret hideout, or whatever he called it. It's an apartment. So I'm gonna make my way towards here. This is kind of a new route, going diagonally here and making use of the helicopter that fortunately consistently spawns there. And then linking up with this road here. I said earlier that it's faster to go over buildings than around, but if there's not that much adjustment, having the buildings with you there can really help you keep up your speed and make it a lot easier. But here's the secret base. This is it. It's just...
Это секретная база, в кавычках, Мистерио.
We're gonna take a secret elevator down, which I do not have.
которая снаружи выглядит как обычная квартира, но на самом деле есть секретный проход в фан-хаус.
I mean, how else? Trying to clip in the door here to hit the cutscene early. I hit it. You notice that the door hadn't left, but I'm fighting these clowns here. I'm going to open up with bonking on the lamp into a hero punch, and then I'm doing something called multi-kicks, where I can cancel the spinning kick animation with a jump off kick into another spinning kick. That was why I bought jump off kick earlier. These clowns only sometimes like to let you do that, and sometimes they do what they're doing.
Здесь небольшая драка. Эти клоуны немного неприятные. Иногда их можно типа застанлочить и сразу завалить, но часто, когда их бьешь, они отлетают, и за ними приходится гоняться и еще раз бить, что не очень оптимально.
This is how fast-paced the combat gets. We're just going through it all. But generally, I'm just avoiding these clone Spider-Men that are trying to kill me and hitting every third mirror.
Здесь разбиваем зеркала.
And then I'm going here to finally finish. That was all one mission. Ever since I said we entered Chapter 9. Don't mind that health bar there. That'll go
И
away.
на этом секция с Мистерио заканчивается.
And then for some reason, jumping
Точнее, с его
after
домом.
leaving will skip Spider-Man's dialogue here, which allows us to go straight into Chapter 10 instead of waiting for the dialogue, which normally wouldn't matter because I'd just be going to where I need to go anyways. But Chapter 10 is pretty tight on hero points, so I'm going to take a race right here.
Ну, ранее рассказал, что надо разбивать каждое третье зеркало. Почему именно не объяснил?
So probably have a time for a donation or two.
Yeah, sure thing. We've got $25 from Vricarion, and they say, is it really fighting evil by moonlight if it's not difficult? Or is it just winning love by daylight? Here's to getting that Sailor Moon difficulty upgrade. We don't run from a real fight. Thank you so much.
Тут опять проходим небольшую гоночку.
4,000 out of 15,000 for upgrading that
Опять-таки набираем
Sailor
хиро-поинты.
Moon. So if you get your donations in, make sure you're picking that. We also, this is a kind of a question for you and the rest of the chat. Got $25 from King TDN. They say Spider-Man 3 is the best Spider-Man movie of all time. Agree or disagree, Sly?
That is going to be a disagree for me, but I don't dislike it.
Do you have a favorite?
Spider-Man 2, believe it or not, no shock
What?
there. Although
Shocking.
I am quite fond of Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, that's an amazing one. Chat, if you have favorites, get those donos in. Let us know.
Кто мог подумать, что Spider-Man 2 — это любимая игра про Спайдермена у этого раннера?
So right here, I'm going in to fight this. I'm basically fighting just a machine of pure energy that is going to fluctuate in a pattern like this. And the pattern is just generally going to be...
Тут тоже небольшой такой босс-файт с машиной по факту, и она пульсирует энергией в определенном ритме. Надо просто перепрыгивать к 4 разным панелькам, когда это поле уменьшается.
That is what turns Doc Ock into Doc Ock. So he's going to show up at some point in the story there. But first, we have to deal with some more robots. Trying to land close to the street. As you notice, the robots are coming in from the sky. So I'm trying to get them to kind of home towards me because it is way easier to deal with them near the ground.
Тут раннер немного манипулировал пришельцами, чтобы они опустились поближе к земле, потому что когда они поближе к земле, то их намного быстрее убивать.
Doing a full charge jump and some shenanigans up in the air. I'm pretty happy there. You have to meet with Dr. Connors again. A little late. He got injured, so we're gonna take him to the hospital, and we will never hear from him again. Hope he's okay. A lot of this game is just kind of going back and forth to the bugle, but as I make my way there.
На секунду там аудио пропало. Я сам не понял, что произошло.
$25 from Jonas. They say lovely to see another great Spider-Man run. Awesome to see some amazing runs of licensed games that are...
На секунду подумал, что это технические проблемы на моей стороне, но потом чат официальной трансляции тоже начал об этом писать. Я с облегчением
Swing
вздохнул.
there, glide, which is going to put me right in the door. And then that'll pretty much be the end of chapter 10. All I got to do is leave the Daily Bugle as per usual. Wait for that mission screen to go before I can move for some reason.
Is it my fault?
Now, Spider-Man's feeling a little conflicted because he's worried that Doc Ock being Doc Ock is his fault. But as per usual, we don't have time for that because we're waiting for him to realize that we have to meet Aunt May at the bank, which will go great. Nothing bad will happen.
Nope, wait, whoa.
That's for those of you who remember the bank scene. So making my way over there, gonna kind of go diagonally over here, trying to keep my height.
Здесь просто передвигаемся от точки А к точке Б, но важно здесь не терять особо высоты.
Way here with the movement. At some point I need to go right. Let's try right now. That worked out. And the bank is tough. I'm fighting Doc here, and the first few seconds are I'm either gonna take out Doc basically right away, or it's gonna become a slob fest.
Здесь драка с доктором,
Okay. Option 2.
и эта драка может пройти или очень быстро, или очень медленно.
Taking him out. And Spider-Man really likes to target the
Здесь еще большая проблема, что есть вот эти вот мелкие враги, и Человек-паук может автонаводиться на них, что не очень приятно. В принципе, первая часть прошла более-менее.
I do not even know how to describe how cool the thing I just did is, but I basically did the Rhino strat you saw like, what, 30 minutes ago? Where I slid up against the wall, canceling the spin kick animation. That only works in that specific hallway when you're near the ceiling against that thug, which is not a consistent setup at all. But I got it to work. Pretty happy about that, to be honest. But I don't have time to think about it because one of the hardest things in the run is right here. 2 token. I'm trying to get 2 tokens while not letting the helicopter get away from
Тут
me.
довольно такой сложный момент в игре, где раннер пытается очень быстро забрать 2 секретных токена и при этом не провалить миссию, потому что надо следовать за вертолетом. Если он слишком далеко уйдет, то это будет провал.
Now we gotta save Aunt May. No issues there. Just get there before the train. And all the big story excitement of the chapter is done, but I still need a little bit more hero points, so I'm going to be going over here for another race. This race is also pretty difficult. I have to get all the way over there.
Делаем еще одну гонку за геройские очки.
Let's see how that goes.
Тут надо за 12 секунд добраться до конца вот этой железной дороги, точнее, до поворота. В принципе, у раннера это получается без каких-либо проблем. И теперь мы можем перейти в 12-й чаптер. Тут нам уже надо 4000 хиропоинтов набрать.
Chapter 11 is a big one. Chapter 12 is, well, also a big one, but the beginning is a little more relaxing as I just get to kind of swing here. A little glide there. This bit's kind of weird because there's a great example of the utility of glides. I pretty much didn't have anything to swing off of to keep my speed up, so I just missed a swing on purpose. And went into a glide, which let me retain my speed. I kind of go over here, need to make my way to Peter's apartment.
Вот опять мы видим, как он использует глайды, то, что мы ранее объясняли. А, блин, он пытался запрыгнуть за токеном, но отпрыгнул от стены. Пришлось подниматься обратно. Ну да, он местами тут использует глайды, где он специально пропускает захват паутиной, и игра просто держит инерцию, можно сказать, Человека-паука, он просто продолжает лететь по прямой.
If you're too slow, you have to do it over again. And I'm trying to get 2 tokens, and it's one of those things where just one mistake can mean a lot. But even before that, I have to worry about that. I've got 2 more tokens I need to get because points are tight.
Тут очередная погоня с Black Cat, во время которой мы собираем пару токенов дополнительных.
Here, and then coming up on here, she's going to jump on that building, the hospital, and then across, and I'm going to kind of break paths with her, which is where things get scary. After that, it should be smooth sailing. Jump ahead here. Make sure not to go too fast, because if you notice that bar is getting a little close. Common mistake. Drop down here, 1. Jump up, 2. Really weird camera angle. That's a new one, but I'm good. So with that tension over, we have time for a couple donations.
Yeah, you got it.
В принципе, я забрал все, что надо. Теперь дело остается за малым, как говорится. Просто следовать за Black Cat.
My balloon.
Отстать от нее довольно сложно.
Similar note, we've got Tony the Parasite with $10. They donate and say, "Oh no, my balloon."
Can't forget that one.
And I've never played this, but somehow I remember a kid saying I lost my balloon. So maybe I did.
It's just kind of like the cultural soup, I think, at this point. It just kind of made its way in.
Exactly. I've got a $5 donation from Toasty who said, donating because of that other Willem Dafoe's donation. And here's a question for you. $25 from Teddy. They say, as a huge Chizo Mythos fan, that previous donation made me curious. Do you actually run the series? Good luck on the run.
I did for a period of time. It's kind of shocking to see. I feel like it's kind of a, less common series of games. But yeah, I did run them, and I would like to come back at some point. So very cool to see like that community kind of pop out here.
You never know where you'll find them.
But right here, this cat chase is over, and this is probably the most tense moment for me personally. Where to the first shocker skip, there's a cutscene trigger on this wall up here, and I need to avoid it. And if I don't, we gotta load a safety save. So I'm aiming for just.
Тут раннер скипает катсцену, а то, что он залез на стену и пролез по определенному пути, это все было для того, чтобы скипнуть триггер, который начинает эту катсцену. И мы сразу же переходим к этому босс-файту.
4, 5, and then 1 spinning kick, and then I'll actually activate the trigger, because while I skipped the trigger to activate his AI, but his health bar was still functional. But if I were to kill him before activating...
Получается, это работает таким образом, что если мы скипаем катсцену, то искусственный интеллект босса не включается, и его можно бить спокойно. Но если его победить, не стартовав катсцену, то игра засофтплочится. Соответственно, мы наносим ему достаточно урона, стартуем босс-файт через катсцену, и тогда уже добиваем.
That's not the last time we'll be seeing Shocker. This will be quite possibly the last shop trip. I'm buying Swing Speed 6, which will be the final one, and then I'm also buying Rising Shoulder Charge, which is, if things go well, we'll never see, and if we don't, I get to do a really cool combo against the final boss. So it's really a win-win to buy it. But yeah, I've reached the...
Сейчас мы уже купили последний апгрейд на скорость, и быстрее уже не будет.
Both of the other ones are post-game exclusive. This one actually you don't need to get to beat the game. It doesn't check to and make you buy it. But it's just so much speed that it's worth going out of the way to the shop to buy it. If you're good at movement. Now we're here going to the Daily Bugle again. And we're leaving again. And we gotta go check out... Spider-Man's going to go photograph like a helicopter or something. I sound confused about that because that's not going to be what happens. At some point here, those of you who play this game might remember the Speedy Mart gets robbed by Mysterio. And this boss fight, let me concentrate for the boss fight. Mysterio is in his final form here. You may notice that he has 3 health bars. He's dead, and we're leaving.
Замечательный босс-файт, где мы в магазине встречаемся с
Any
Мистерио.
hit will take him out there.
Ему дается 3 хп-бара, и он умирает моментально.
And he will fall over. So, and that's the last time we will see him.
Такой замечательный босс-файт без
On
босс-файта.
that,
This should be a safe.
and back to the Daily Bugle yet again. Big surprise, I'm going to leave immediately.
I can't believe that.
Peter's feeling a little bit
Only one
disillusioned
thought it would sell papers.
with how the Daily Bugle treats him,
What did I ever do to James?
and what he needs
Possibly have.
is a little bit of black cat chase. But I don't know about you. I'm getting a little sick of these black cat chases. Let's just skip.
Начинается очередная гонка, точнее погоня за Black Cat, и мы ее скипаем тем, что мы клипаемся в вот эту вот секцию, где мы бегаем за Питера Паркера, и потом выходим обратно.
And then re-exit. Now the AI stays broken, and because all the triggers we need to progress the game are already active, I can just leave Black Cat behind
И получается, таким образом мы
to that cutscene trigger.
немного конфузим триггеры в игре.
Grab that.
Соответственно, нам теперь не надо дожидаться, пока Black Cat добежит до конца, и мы можем собрать нужные нам токены и перейти на, по факту, следующий этап игры.
It's another token back here. Grab that one, and then there's one last one under the bridge coming up here that I'm gonna need to grab. And I said under, which makes it a little bit more difficult. to
Ой-ой-ой.
grab.
Почти поймал токен, но стукнулся об стену и
That was
отлетел.
really close. No swag grab, unfortunately, but it's fine. Just crawl up and grab it. And then swing. The cutscene trigger is up here by this Shocker warehouse. And if there's been any indication here for Shocker, we're not going to fight him. I'm going to do another skip here.
Будет
This
еще
is
один
an
скип.
easier skip, but the penalty is worse if I miss it. So
Вот. Буквально то же самое, что и раньше. Скипаем кат-сцену, и шокер не активируется. Мы его можем
sometimes that
побить.
happens. 2, 3.
Still a boring name.
У нас есть конкретное количество ударов, которые мы можем ему нанести. 5 комбух. Теперь мы стартуем файт и добиваем его последней комбухой.
Normally he would have an impenetrable shield you would have to turn off here, but when he starts the health, the boss at when the boss fight starts and he's at below 1/3 health, it breaks his AI for that too. So there are no issues there, and we get to skip that boss fight's like 5 minutes. It's by far the longest boss fight in the game. So honestly, being able to skip it kind of saves this speedrun, if I'm being honest. But we get to go into chapter 4.
И мы переходим на предпоследнюю главу.
Second to last chapter.
Она же 14-я.
And the game's gonna give me way too much time to get to Mary Jane's play. I think it's because this mission can technically activate from anywhere in the world. Since you could technically start the chapter anywhere, but 5 minutes is so long. So I'm already pretty much there.
Игра нам дает 5 минут, чтобы добраться до вот этой вот точки, и 5 минут это слишком щедро.
We're gonna go into an alley fight trying to save Mary Jane.
Мы
here.
буквально за полминуты добрались.
Go for a hero punch. They might block it. That actually worked out pretty well. What really matters is this guy.
Здесь еще одна небольшая драка с
The uppercut. But
ворами,
he ended up blocking my follow-up anyways. But
или как это правильно назвать,
not a bad
грабителями.
fight either way. Gonna get a much-needed health drop here. Game's pretty stingy with these going forward, and I'm about to go into the hardest fight in the run, probably, at least for a health conservation method. About to enter the final interaction, one of the final interactions with Black Cat. This isn't a chase.
Опять находим Black Cat. На этот раз надо за ней не следовать, а это гонка с ней.
Coming in, a lot of people love Spider-Man.
То есть кто первый доберется до точки, естественно,
They say my favorite Spider-Man movie is Spider-Man.
обогнать ее спидранеру не проблема, но тут есть немного того классического раббер-бендинга. Если вы посмотрите на панель сверху справа, то вы можете увидеть, что когда мы не смотрим на Black Cat, она очень быстро нас догоняет.
From the red Eft. They say donating for good luck for Sly on the upcoming most amazing and most difficult boss fight in video game history. Good luck with that Mysterio boss fight. Well, as we saw, it was not much of a fight.
Здесь еще одна драка. Просто как можно быстрее бьем этих бандитов.
They say this is my girlfriend's favorite game for PS2, and watching this year's AGDQ has been a blast. Keep swinging. Love from Sweden. Now,
All right.
if I recall correctly, this is on Xbox, right?
Yes, I'm playing Xbox, but it's the same game.
It's on both. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Xbox, PS2, GameCube. And
Oh,
I am in
GameCube.
this fight, which is going pretty well so far. It's kind of just like a slugfest, but I am trying to take out a few key targets first, like the sniper. Snipers can take out your chunk your health with shots, and then I want to leave the robots for last generally. I'm going to be going, yeah. Sometimes they like to throw you around a little bit.
Ну, тут, кстати, видно применение того геройского удара, который мы купили ранее, Hero Punch, где мы делаем вот этот вот панч, и сразу же после этого апперкот, что наносит очень много урона.
Swing cancel them this time instead of sliding against a wall to cancel them. That fight took a little bit more health than I wanted to out of it, so I'm going to forgo a dialogue skip here to make another trip to the shop. And that was why I said earlier that if things go well, that would be my last trip to the shop. But a lot of the times that fight just doesn't go the way you need it to, and you need to go to the shop. Before, you know, we're basically waiting.
Здесь забегаем за еще одним апгрейдом.
Realize that he's unhappy with his life before the game can move on.
И, в принципе, на это есть время, потому что пока происходит диалог,
He's gonna say a few things there, and so
и пока он не закончится, дальше мы продвигаться не можем.
So, yeah, donation. We can fit a couple in.
Yeah, sounds good. We've got $10 from Aiden. They say, crazy
Yo.
to see the local Luigi hero Slyfincleton become the world record holding web slinger. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Aiden.
Maybe I can balance.
We've got $100 from Robin. They say, loved this game as a kid. It's a pleasure to watch it, to see it. Excuse me. It's a pleasure to watch it played so fast. Thank you, Robin, for your generosity. Very much appreciated.
Maybe I can be Spider-Man and still be with MJ.
I've got $25 from Ash0011. They say, longtime watcher, second-time donator. My favorite Spider-Man movie is No Way Home because it means Spider-Man technically has the first MCU movie now. Kudos to the awesome run and amazing runner. Thank you so much, Ash.
Yeah, so now Spider-Man's realized that he should probably just tell MJ how he feels. We will not be seeing Black Cat again, for better or worse. He realized who he should be with now. He's gonna go for the confession. She turns him down. But while he is a little bit upset about that, I get to go over here, and I'm gonna grab one last token to get the final points I need to finish the chapter.
What about the danger?
And then I'm gonna keep
Только что был момент, где мы отправились к Мэри Джейн, признаться в своих чувствах, но она их отклонила.
At least she still has Harry.
There it is, right there.
Для спидрана это ничего не
Do it, that
меняет.
cutscene loads immediately. That saves like 5 or 6 seconds.
Мы после этого просто добираем больше героических очков, чтобы
So why not?
перейти в последнюю главу.
Harry's been a much better
Make my way down south.
I'm no good.
There we go. As we start chapter 15, we're already entering the last chapter of the game,
И вот, собственно, и она.
and things are about to get a little
Глава
climactic.
15.
But first, I've got to get back to Peter's apartment.
Для начала нам надо отправиться в нашу же квартиру.
Glide there. I'm trying to move diagonally here because I need to go this way anyways. Using my height. Do a little glide dip into this street, and then I'm going to follow it pretty much the whole way to the apartment. I'm going to make sure I stay in this street. And then make my way across here. I don't need to actually touch the icon there. You notice that it disappeared as soon as I got close enough, which will then activate the cutscene. One of the few times where the game's actually pretty generous with stuff like that. But now we're gonna go talk to MJ about our relationship issues, and nothing bad will happen, just like how nothing bad happened at the bank. It's a little joke. You know, meet up with MJ here. It's really easy to swing past this building, so I sometimes subconsciously take it a little slow like that.
А вот тут мы опять отправились к Мэри Джейн, и в этой катсцене ее типа похитили. Но мы катсцену скипнули, этого не видели, но теперь ее надо спасать.
This is some of the more difficult movement in the game. I'm going to be using a lot of glides to kind of bridge the gaps between these buildings and keep my speed up. I'm also really working on managing my height, because if it goes low like that, then it can be kind of tricky to not slow down. Going over there and through here, going to be doing two big glides. There's one decent distance, and this one's probably more important and harder to hit, but I got it. Look at that glide. I'm going. And then get my way straight into the cutscene. Now we're going to try to fight Doc Ock on the train, the first of two.
Ну и отсюда начинаются босс-файты.
Close to him, and I'm basically just going to start
Опять с доком
in
пьемся,
slow-mo.
но на этот раз уже
Try
на
to get
поезде.
both of the hits in my combo to connect. Sometimes he kind of forces you away like that. That's a reset, and then he's done. I've been having lots of good train fights in practice for that, and I'm glad that continues.
Тренер говорит, что очень хорошо получилось, и в последнее время даже на практике у него этот файт всегда хорошо проходил. Так что хорошо, что даже на марафоне это не изменилось.
Movement here. I'm going for a huge glide here. Got it, and then I'm going to curve off to the right to meet up with the street. We're aiming for the warehouse over here. Do another glide here. Would not have gotten even close to the warehouse if I hadn't done that. Made it in, and now we got some switches to do. This part can be pretty difficult. Let's see how this goes. Start my way over here, charge my jump, get away from his attack, land on the second switch, swing down. The barrier is charging in the background. I'm trying to make it in here before it does.
Здесь у нас типа босс-файт, как и раньше, но чуть-чуть посложнее. Надо нажимать на разные панельки, которых теперь больше, и, собственно, локация поопаснее.
Then it pulses and I get hit like that, but it doesn't do that much damage, and we bought health. Sometimes it's worth it to take a pulse like that. I knew I wasn't going to make it there, but it's better to just take the pulse and keep going on with your life. That one maybe not the best decision, but got a kind of scary jump here across the water. If I fall in, I have to do this all again. Web zip, climb up and grab it, and we're already into the final boss.
И на этом начинается финальная драка.
When I get the final hit here,
Скоро уже будет время.
I'll try to keep you up, but it kind of depends on how he's feeling here. Going for a hero punch loop, hitting him with the hero punch and then dodging his attack to go into the next one. Sometimes he tries to go up in the air, which would make my punches miss, but I fortunately hit him in time.
Еще один удар. И
More
время.
dodges, just a couple more hits. And that's time.
Какой графон в катсцене-то, а?
Awesome run. Really great
Yes.
job.
Pretty intense at the end there. But I think that entire ending section, and honestly, pretty much the whole run, barring like the one failed race.
Раннер говорит, что доволен тем, как ран прошел. Только одну гонку зафейлил разок, и все. А в остальном все было практически идеально.
Yeah, 57-21.
That's
something
great.
like
I
that.
was just trying to get sub 1 hour and not embarrass myself, but we kind of pulled out a pretty sick run here. But yeah, as CGI Doc Ock and Spider-Man and Mary Jane solve the issues here in this cutscene that is inexplicably way louder.
Раннер говорит, что по какой-то причине эта катсцена намного громче, чем вся остальная
I
игра.
want to say thank you to obviously GDQ for having me, and the Spider-Man 2 speedrunning community. You know who you are. If you're interested, check out the Spider-Man 2 leaderboard and the Spider-Man speedrunning Discord. And
I'm sorry I didn't tell you any better.
I don't know what else to say. I think other than the kind of the shaky beginning, that was a really fun run.
Now you see why
Glad to have it here.
it wouldn't be fair to you. I was
And
selfish to ask.
I guess that's
На этом ран
Thank you
заканчивается.
for having me.
Даже не показали всю финальную катсцену до конца.